All right, we are live. Welcome to our 2 cents. Good to see everybody. I am Tom Sellers with my co-host Frank Hostica. Frank, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous today, Tom.
Uh,
A wonderful day out.
all right.
Up to 75 degrees. Man, beautiful day.
You
Beautiful
are
day in the
you are
neighborhood.
living the life. You are living the life.
Hasn't it
We
been
woke up
in the
to rain
70s
and
where you
kind of
are?
no, it's not.
We don't live
So
that
you
far
and I
away
have
from
been
each other.
tagging along. I'm sorry.
We don't live that far away from each other. It was 70 here today. It was lovely.
We got to 60, and the sun didn't actually come out till about 5:30 tonight for a brief period of time.
No, it came out a little bit earlier here. I'm a little bit farther west of you, so I got sun a little bit sooner.
Yep. Yeah, you and I have been playing Zoom tag today. We've been hanging out. We've been all kinds of meetings today,
Yep.
and
Yes,
there's
we
Phil
have.
Nocerino. Yes, we have. Phil, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm
Couple
doing
of
great.
housekeeping notes. You heard me talk about this a week ago. We are 1 week away from pre-launching the 5-week course that I have put together, how to monetize your experience. So keep an eye out on that. If you would like some pre-information, let me know. Put a little something in the chat box, and I will send you out an overview video what that's going to look like. Frank, what's going on with you?
I'm just getting ready for the McHenry Chambers big virtual networking event tomorrow. But yeah,
Right.
and we got Phil Nocerino on board. Good evening, Phil, and Ted Legal joining us. So good evening, guys. Glad you're here. But yeah, getting
Absolutely.
ready for a big virtual scramble tomorrow. McHenry Chambers hosting. We've got 88 small business owners going to be on a virtual networking event tomorrow morning from 9 to 11. I'm so pretty darn excited about that.
Very cool. Well, I got to tell you, we are excited about our next guest. This is somebody that Frank and I have known for a long time, and I got to tell you, she's got a great business. She's going to tell us about it. Um, so I'm not gonna spend a lot more time harping on that. Let's just bring her in, and let's everybody say hi to our friend Ellen Corey. Ellen owns Coaching by Corey, and she's going to give us some really cool things to think about. She's going to introduce us to her business, and if I'm not mistaken, she's got something coming up. I think some of you will be interested in. So, Ellen, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Good to see you, as it always is.
Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Frank. I'm so pleased to be able to join you today.
Glad to have you. So we're going to get right into it, Ellen.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I am a board certified health and wellness coach, which is really the same thing as a life coach. And I believe in doing the best job I can at all times. So I have cutting edge skills and certifications and a master's degree in counseling. In fact, I used to be a counselor for a number of years and now have been a coach for about 7 years now. But
Okay.
it's a little bit different because counseling was more therapeutic and coaching is not. So
Okay. So how did you get
How's that?
started with the coaching?
how did I get into the coaching?
Yeah,
Well,
how did you get started with coaching?
I wanted to do something different. I was working from 7 in the morning till 8 at night every day. And my husband got on my case and he said, you know what, you really need to have a change. So I wanted to use the skills that I had, the skills of listening and all that kind of coaching stuff and counseling stuff And I could transition that over to coaching. Now, I did have to go back to school for another degree in health and wellness coaching, but they are the same skills. A lot of the skills that you use, Tom and Frank, in your career here with listening and summarizing and getting people to
Mhm.
to dig deeper, make changes.
So when you were in more of the therapeutic side of things or the counseling side of things, did you work for somebody else or were you always self-employed or you own your own business?
I worked for a school district,
Okay.
and then I was working all the time. I had a really large caseload, and I was starting to get high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And I thought, got to make a change. And my husband kept on saying, if you're going to work this hard, you need to work for yourself.
Very
And
good. Okay.
yeah, and that's what prompted the change
Awesome.
from counseling to
Cool.
coaching.
So, you had mentioned.
And I think,
Go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, I think there's a lot of us that are in the entrepreneur world right now, and those that are in our audience, because most people who listen to this are also entrepreneurs. I think that is one of the biggest driving factors, what you just got done saying. If I'm going to work this hard, I'm going to work for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to work for me.
Yep. There you go. So, Ellen, you touched on it a moment ago when you're introducing yourself that you like to stay on the cutting edge of things. Obviously, you do continuing education and you're continually learning and all that. So, what changes have you seen in your industry in the past few years?
I have to tell you that my industry has changed to it's worldwide now, because most coaches have gone virtual. And so now my competition is everybody who's a coach who can communicate in the English language. So I have competition in Europe, in England, in Australia, all across the United States. It used to be I could go to McHenry, or I could go to Barrington, I could go to Chambers, I could do, some networking, I could get business that way. And now you almost have to have a fantastic website. You have to really have targeted your audience and your avatar and know who you're selling to and what your product is. And the competition is rough. And that's why it's good to have the cutting edge qualifications, because it just pushes you up a little bit
Mm-hmm.
with the competition.
Okay.
I would venture to say, just from my experience and what I've seen with what I do, and correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, I've got a question for this as well, Ellen. So just kind of bear with me here. What I've seen due to COVID and the fact that we are all working from home, entrepreneurs have had to take on a hat that they did not have to wear prior to that. And you hit on it precisely when you said now your competition is everywhere. And now I've got to have a pretty website. I've got to target things. All of a sudden now we have gone from entrepreneurs that are coaches, that are writers, that are digital marketing people. Now we've all had to turn into internet marketers.
You're right.
So now we've had to learn.
You know,
Please go ahead.
I really, that really resonates with me, because you want to be a small business, but a small business almost can't be a small business anymore, because the competition is everywhere and everybody wants a piece of the pie. So I hear what you're saying, so keep on going on that thread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what?
Sure.
So
Well, one
go ahead.
of the things that we do with my company is we teach people, because it's become a necessity. Targeting is unbelievably more important now than it was before. swimming in smaller niches is far more important than it ever was before. Because, like you said, everybody is all, and we're all in this great big sea, hunting the same customers. When in some cases, at least for many of my clients, many people I work with, it makes sense for us to break away from that pack and look for smaller schools to become profitable. Um, so that's just kind of my take on things based on this whole 10-year anniversary of the 2-week lockdown, as I like to call it. But
Yeah.
from a coaching perspective, help me out here, because I know I've seen it in my business. I know I've seen it in with the people I work with. I know Frank has too. What kind of you do a lot of business coaching and live coaching. What kind of new things over the past 7-8 months are a lot more prevalent now before we all got locked down that you've had to help people work their way through?
Oh, I've had to, people are overwhelmed. There's a lot of
Right.
overwhelm. And
Yep.
I have to tell you, it's so hard to work from home. It's hard to focus for people because they don't know how to structure their day. And
Right.
when you work from home, everybody wants a piece of your pie. They think because you're at home that you're really not working. And that is not true. And people have to really set strong boundaries. They
Right.
have to know what they want and they have to set those boundaries so that
Mhm.
their time doesn't get stolen. And they,
Yeah. Good
Oh,
point.
oh, yeah,
And
you're right.
Tom, you were doing this
Go
for a
ahead, Frank.
while. I believe Tom is your wife. Is Rachel still working from home, or is she gone back to the office?
Oh no, she's still at home, and they are not looking anywhere near like any time before the first quarter next year will they be going back.
Yeah.
so go ahead. Go ahead, Frank.
And
Sorry.
and myself and my wife, we both have home-based businesses, so we both work from home. So we're both trying to work from home, and we're in different rooms, but you get up. Oh, let me go fill my coffee cup, and then you're in the kitchen, and oh, hi, hon, how you doing? No different than running into an employee at the water cooler. Okay, but same thing.
Right, right.
Ellen, does your husband work from home as well?
No, he does not work from home, and I am very glad.
Good. So he gets
Uh,
out of the house, and you've got some to yourself. Yeah. So that's one of those challenges. Would you call that's one of the challenges of working from home? Is that what are some of the other challenges you have with in your business as far as we talked a little bit about the competition that's out there, setting yourself apart, and then of course the whole dealing with the working from home. What other challenges do you encounter or in your business?
um, I think creating the niche, just because there's so many coaches out there, and I have decided to create the niche of working with people who work from home, who work remotely, and that along with you know um, creating a personal brand, creating my brand, getting my brand out there, are some trends, are things that I've had to do. But the biggest thing is, and it ties into what Tom was saying, you have to have marketing, you have to have a good website, you have to know what you're doing and who you want to be your customer.
Right.
So
I would argue. I would argue that from those of us who have had to learn marketing, especially internet marketing on the fly, which is a lot of us, um, and I teach my students, for lack of a better word, this from the very beginning. The most important thing that we have to learn how to do when we get involved with looking for our market is identify them beyond a shadow of a doubt. Who is it that is attracted to what I have to say? Is it an age range? Is it a male female thing? Who is my ideal customer? Not because I think so, but because they think so.
Right. Are you filling the need? What is their need? Can you fill it? What is the avatar that you're looking for? Because people, because of COVID, their budgets are cut. And a lot of times
Yep.
people have very small marketing budgets, so they have to really know what they're going for.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And a lot of it is possible to accomplish on your own if you have kind of a set direction. That's the good side. The downside is this. You're trying to service your existing client base. How much time do you have to devote to that? It is a double-edged sword that is not a comfortable one to walk on. I know it firsthand.
That's why the things that I deal with people working from home are so pinpointed. Their accountability. How are you going to be accountable? Productivity, working smart, strategic planning, and it kind of boils down to organizing your thoughts and staying in a positive mindset. That's so important for being productive. And then, especially now in this COVID time, being compassionate with yourself. Don't get down on yourself. If something goes wrong, be compassionate.
Cut yourself some slack. Is what you're saying.
Cut yourself some slack.
Well, but again, and Ellen, I'm sure you have these conversations with your coaching clients because again, you know what? I can cut myself all kinds of slack, but at the end of the day, does that put money in the bank?
No, and that's why
it's that again. Talk about another double-edged sword. Well, I'm cutting. Hey, my coach told me to cut myself some slack. Oh, well, oops. Now I cut myself way too much slack.
Right.
When I talk
in the
about, go ahead.
The mortgage company don't care how much slack I cut myself. They just want their check.
The slack I'm talking about is make sure you take your breaks during the day. Make sure you drink water. It's almost like, you ever hear of the HALT quiz? Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired?
Okay.
That's
yes.
Well, then you get a little slack. You can cut yourself a little slack. But at the end of the day, when you talk about accountability, you're talking about working smart. And you're talking about working during your peak times, setting hours to start and finish in the day, putting in the breaks, and not doing chores during the day when you're working from home. And
I shouldn't be doing the laundry at the same time I'm working. I can't run out and throw a load of laundry in. And
not unless you put it in your schedule, because when you're going to work smart and you're working from home, let's say you can make whatever schedule you want. If you say you want to work from 9 to 11 and then give yourself an hour break to do something else and then work from 12 to 5, it's all about creating a schedule and working smart. And if you're a morning person, then you might find yourself getting up a little bit early. Maybe you wouldn't have a 9 to 5 day. Maybe you have you start 6 in the morning.
mm-hmm.
Working smart also has to do with that 2-hour rule. You ever hear of the 2-hour rule?
Go ahead, elaborate a little bit more on that.
Work intensely for 2 hours, and after 2 hours, you get diminishing returns. So chunk your jobs into 2-hour blocks and give yourself a little break in between. And that's part of working smart.
Okay.
Especially when you're going to be accountable.
Okay.
Ellen, I don't know what happened here. We can hear you, which is good. And that was a great point. I don't know what you're seeing on your screen, Frank, or you, on yours, Ellen, but on my screen, I see your picture broken up and pixelating.
Really? I see
Looks
everything.
fine
Good.
here.
Okay, then, hey, I'm going to hope that what's going out there is what you guys are seeing.
Yeah. And I've got it on
Okay,
another,
good.
I've got it on another screen, another device, watching it on, and it's live on Facebook, and it looks fine. So
Perfect.
we're good.
Good.
With the technical stuff. So Ellen, I want to get back to something else before we talk more about what you do when you're working with your employees. What have you found to be the most effective way for promoting your business? You talked about making a brand for yourself and doing those things. What have you found during the last 8 months or so of COVID? What have you found to be? Have you tried some different things and found something that didn't work, and then done something else? Or what have you found to be the most effective way to promote your business?
Okay. I would say, now you're going to laugh at me, but I think that tomorrow is the virtual McKenry scramble, and
Yep.
normally I would go. I can't go, but every other time I went, like if there's 80 people there or whatever, they encourage you to do one-on-ones. And I think that since COVID, I have been more pushing myself more to do the one-on-ones. And that has really helped because I've met a lot more people. So because I feel like I'm not getting out and socializing as much, I'm doing more calling. I'm doing more power partner kinds of things. One thing that's really worked for me is partnering with people. Like I partner, you're going to invite Carly from Mindfully Carly on the show at one point coming up. I partner with Carly. So not only do I have all my people that follow me, I've got all her people too.
Right.
I partner with a chiropractor. I partner. So for me, partnering with someone else brings all of their clients in as well as my clients in.
Awesome.
Doing one-on-ones. Is that the kind of thing you're asking me, Frank?
Yeah, sure. Well, and another thing I know you do is you're involved with the beyond the chamber itself, the McHenry Area Chamber of Commerce, which is where we all have met each other originally. You're involved with a group, the Health and Wellness team at the chamber. Now you're partnering with how many people are in that? How many are on that team or that little kind of group that you work with? How many people are in that?
There's about 7, but thank you for bringing that up, Frank, because every small business should be in a couple of kinds of referral groups. You should be in a peer referral group, and that health and wellness team is kind of a peer referral group. We all have the same target market. We're all into health and wellness, and there's a chiropractor, and there's a massage therapist, and there's a meditation counselor. There are a lot of different people in there, but we all serve health and wellness. And then the other one is to be in a regular referral group or a BNI or something like that, that you have contacts that way.
Right. Great. So would you consider it a health and wellness team? You kind of do some masterminding as well? You do?
Oh, yeah, we are a mastermind. We mastermind, we brainstorm. I remember we all had, what do you do if especially during this COVID time, how do you get people to be calm enough to come into a massage therapist's office and get a massage?
Yeah.
So we all had the same kind of problems with some of these new changes with COVID. So we brainstorm them, and how do we get more business? We have another luncheon for health and wellness in the McHenry area. So we've done a number of lunch and learns, and we're going to present at the library coming up too. So we're trying to get out into the community, and that's just education. We want to educate the community too.
Sure. Okay. So if I got this right, kind of the things you found to be most effective for promoting your business is one, setting one-on-one or one-to-one virtual appointments, kind of like this,
Yeah.
and having conversations with somebody and doing that kind of exploring how do we help each other out? How do we collaborate? And what can I do to help you? What can you do to help me? Type of
Yeah.
conversations. All right.
Yeah.
And then you've got your health and wellness team, kind of a mastermind group of health and wellness people in that health and wellness industry that you meet with regularly to discuss things relevant to your industry and how you're dealing with it and things that work in that way. And then community outreach, doing presentations, webinars, lunch and learns to try to reach people to educate them on the benefits that the different people that you partner with have to offer.
And thanks for bringing that up, Frank. I just did not too long ago a webinar for the Lake Geneva Library. Now, if it wasn't for COVID and virtual and all that, I never would have done a Zoom webinar for the Lake Geneva Library. But it gave me an opportunity to expand, to expand my reach to other communities. So, that's a good thing too.
That's very good.
It is.
Great
And
stuff.
Go ahead,
the
Tom.
nice thing, you have to look at the silver lining in anything as best you can. And I'm going to be the first one that says I'm burnt out on this, the idea of this lockdown. I don't like a lot of the things that it's meant. However, the silver lining is, as much as we may be tired of Zoom meetings, and this is our new norm for right now, it has opened up a lot of opportunities, like you just mentioned. My business, I still have, I have my business credit company as well as my marketing company. Have been open to a lot more opportunities during this time. I have customers across the country simply because Zoom is such an easy way of doing things. So I think with, I'm not the first one to say this. It's been said many times by many people, but with adversity comes opportunity. And that is where we have to try to find ourselves. And I'm sure from your perspective, that is some of the things you have to impart to your clients.
Yes. And, it's funny because I have a client in Alaska. I have a client in Arizona. I have not ever met them in person, but because of COVID, I was able to meet them through an organization. We hit it off through a one-on-one, and voila,
Right.
So it is an opportunity.
Right.
Great.
Right.
That's awesome. Hey, Tom, I think it's time for a commercial break.
Well, I kind of did it, but I'll go ahead and bring it up again anyway.
Okay.
I've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. That I've got a 5-week course coming out teaching you how to monetize your experience and the ways that we can show you how to do that. Now, Ted has asked for the video orientation, which I will send him. Anybody else that would like that, please put your comments in. I'll get it out to you by email as well. And then also, I have, as you may remember from last week, I have a deal that I've put together with audiobooks, which will give you 3 free audiobooks for trying them out for a month. If you like it, great. You stay with them. If you don't, you cancel. You get your three audiobooks. 200,000 titles. In this COVID thing, I personally have done a lot of reading and learning stuff I didn't know before, enhancing what my business does now. That maybe during COVID I wouldn't have had the time to do it before COVID. I mean, so I'm a guy who is a firm believer in, if you're going to grow, you got to read, you got to learn. So if you would like that, I will send you the link. Get yourself those 3 audiobooks and thank me later. And now back to Frank.
All right, awesome. So we're talking to Ellen Corey. For those of you that joined us a little late, her contact information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, as well as Tom and I. So if you want to get in touch with Ellen, her number's there, and that. But we're going to get back to talking to Ellen about what she does, how she works, how she helps small business owners, entrepreneurs. So our audience is primarily entrepreneurs who own their own home-based business, and I know that's kind of a target market of yours. You yourself work from home, and your clients are professionals and entrepreneurs. Some of them are home-based businesses, others have offices, brick and mortars, and that. But at the end of the day, you're looking to help those types of people. So, what are some of the things you work on with your clients?
One of the things, Frank, is setting boundaries, and we talked about that a little bit before. Setting a start to the day, setting an end to the day. Not being a slave to emails. Having a protocol with the emails. Maybe checking them for 20 minutes every 2 hours. As we said before, not doing chores during work, controlling your calls. So helping people set boundaries for what's keeping them from being accountable, what's distracting them.
Mm-hmm.
Helping them be productive, knowing their triggers and time wasters. If your trigger is a phone call from your kids, then set the boundary that you can't call me during this time unless it's an emergency. If your trigger is going on Facebook during the workday, just know what is going to kind of cause you to not be productive, not be accountable. Don't multitask. It's funny about multitasking. Everybody thinks multitasking is so great, but multitasking causes you to kind of split your brain and use half your brain on one thing and half your brain on the other thing. And you really don't do anything as well as if you concentrate 100% on.
It's a very good point.
Yeah. And I know men are much better at not multitasking than women.
Well, thank you.
I refuse to split my brain in half. I don't have any to spare.
Yeah.
Well, get that part back. I wanted to give people something of value too, only because in this conversation, because now I noticed a lot of my clients, we're ready to start an accountability coaching session, and they say, Ellen, how do you get through the day? I'm so depressed. I just, so I wanted to give you a couple of quick 30-second resets that you could use anytime during the day when you're working from home to just get your energy back and to refocus on what you're doing. And the first one is called, and this is cutting edge neuroscience, but I'm not going to explain any of the neuroscience. I'm just going to tell you the easy part. Okay, the 30-second cure, physiologic sigh, 2 breaths and an exhale. Doing that 5 times is going to take your mind out of wherever it was and reset it. 30 seconds, quick reset. And this one, just moving in your chair, moving, standing. If you're in a phone call and you're starting to get anxious, or if you have kids coming to you or something, something's going on, you're starting to feel the tightness in your chest, you're starting to feel anxious, you're starting to lose your focus, just move, just stand, just change your position, and it will give you a quick reset. Another thing, very, very simple. You're on the phone with somebody, starting to be a negative conversation. You force yourself to smile. You fake it till you make it. You force yourself to smile. Just smiling will put you in another frame of mind, and you will be more positive.
Wow. Cool stuff.
And when you're positive, you can get more done. You can be more focused, you can be more productive, you can be more accountable. And it's so important now because we have an election, we have COVID, we have loss of funds due to, business shutting down for a long amount of time during COVID. We got a lot of stuff on our plate. And if we could just be focused, be structured, we can get a lot more done when we're working from home.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about strategic planning? When you get a new client, or even a client you've had for a while, what do you do in regards to strategic planning? What does that look like with somebody?
Well, I was just working with a client today, and I love this client because she has so much stuff in her brain that's coming at her. She's got a couple of businesses going. And with the strategic planning, the first thing we try to do is get a vision. What do you really want in your life? It doesn't matter if you're married. What do you want when you get to the end of your life? What do you want people to have to say about you? That's the important thing. What do you want to accomplish? And once you have that nugget, then everything you do, all the steps, all your goals will lead to that vision. So that's the first thing, discover the vision. The second thing is to decide what you want to do in 3 months. What's your 3-month plan? What's your 5-month plan? What's your 1-year plan? And not that you have to do it right then. Let the things bubble up. One thing we do is we brainstorm about everything that's going on in that person's life. I call it a brain dump. We just dump it all. We write it down, dump it all, and we put it into groups. And then the person decides which is the most important thing to work on. Is it the business? Is it the home life? What exactly is it? And then they start prioritizing. And my goal is they have to have something, they have to leave with something to take a step forward. I don't work with anybody who is not committed to moving forward. So take the big thing, take the vision, then break it down into, chunks. And then, what do you want to do for the week? What do you want to do for the day? So,
wow. Great stuff. That's awesome. That's awesome stuff. I think those are some good nuggets for the audience and for me as well. And I think you'd agree, Tom. Tom, you got a question? Anything you want to ask along those lines or follow up with on that?
No, and yes, I do agree. I go about it, with and I'm not a coach. I don't call myself a coach. I don't even know how to spell coach. I teach people how to use a marketing system. But from the standpoint of how I discern who I work with and who I won't, it has to do all with commitment. It's all about how much you are going to invest time-wise, how much you are going to invest in learning processes, and bigger than all that, how much time you're going to invest implementing. And from an implementation standpoint, and Ellen, I'm sure you will agree with this, in many cases, implementing something means going out of your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you, you know, you're going to laugh at this, but I work with a lot of salespeople, and their biggest fear, can you guess what their biggest fear is?
Cold calling.
Being made.
Making phone calls.
Mhm.
They're afraid to make phone calls. And what were you going to say, Tom? Because I know you were going to say something when Frank said phone calls. What were you going to say?
No, phone calls is a good one. And I make phone calls. Well, if I don't, nobody's gonna. And I don't have a problem with it. I don't like cold phone calls. I won't make those. That's why I've devised a way that I don't have to anymore. But I was going to say, because I've been a salesman for 40 years, if you ask me what have been or maybe still am afraid of, is somebody laughing at my ideas. Salesmen have a real bad problem with being laughed at.
Well,
It's an
or
ego thing.
yeah, rejection.
Yeah, you have to have a
Rejection part of the
tough
deal.
story.
Rejection. If you're a salesman and you're afraid of rejection, get out of sales. Is the best advice I can give. But yeah, I think most salespeople are ego driven to a large degree, and as soon as you bruise that, that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah, yeah. And people have to take themselves seriously. And if you're really going to work from home and you're going to be a small business owner, you have to step out of your comfort area. And you had said, Tom, you don't really like it, but you did a workaround. You have some other way of doing the phone call, of making the contacts without making the phone call. So,
We're not making cold calls.
yeah.
I don't make cold calls.
Yeah,
Mhm.
calling people, but
Yeah,
not
I
calling people that.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I work with a lot. It's stepping out of your comfort area. How can we do it? What are you afraid of? And how can we do a workaround and make a plan to move forward? Because remember, if you're working with me, you're committing to moving forward no matter how small a step you take.
Great stuff. So,
So,
Ellen, a couple more things I'm going to touch on. Accountability. You've mentioned accountability, and obviously, working with you, there's a certain degree of accountability. You're going to hold people accountable. But what would you say to someone someone that's in business or working for themselves, or just about anybody, having an accountability partner?
you know what? That is a great idea, Frank. I was going to bring that up too. Accountability partner. And you have to be judicious when you choose your accountability partner, because it can't necessarily be your friend. It has to be somebody who can hold your feet to the fire. And you mentioned before about brainstorming, and also holding a space for you to explore ideas. One of the things that Tom said was that salespeople are afraid that their ideas are not going to be accepted, that they're stupid. But if you have an accountability partner, or if you're in an accountability group, you run those by someone else and you kind of feel it out, so that you're not moving forward with something that might be iffy. You're feeling confident about it. And that's the whole thing about making the phone calls, about having good ideas. You have to have support. And whether it's working with a coach or working with an accountability, 2 heads are better than one. Multiple heads are better than one. And a group accountability is even better, because then you have the accountability coach, but you also have everybody in the group, to run things by. Or if you have an opportunity to be in a mastermind group, that is one thing that has really helped my business. I'm in a mastermind group. I'm in 2 mastermind groups, and that has really helped me move forward with marketing and with everything, because I run the ideas by them.
That's awesome. Great stuff. Great. great nuggets. I think it's
I am.
Ellen, you're bringing a lot of things up here that are relevant. I certainly appreciate they're relevant to people that work from home. That's and that's the conversation, and that's our audience is people that are trying to be successful in being in business for themselves, being an entrepreneur, working from home. So all good stuff. We really appreciate it. Tom, do you have something to add?
I do, but I always do. You know that.
Right.
And I'm going to second your thoughts on a mastermind. I am also in one that has been invaluable to my my growth this past year, and they are not hard to find. You just have to open your eyes, and I'm a big proponent of open your eyes, go find them, because you're going to get a couple of things out of it. You're going to have the ability to learn from people who have been to where you are trying to go. And you're going to have the ability to, like Ellen said, hey, what do you think about this? And the only part of it I am, the only statement that I look at, and it's just part of my quirky makeup. When I ask people to go uh, out of their comfort zone, it's not a question; it's a necessity. One of the first assignments I give people that I with is to do live video. The number of people who are afraid to do a live video, or people that are afraid to talk in front of a group, is a big thing. So for somebody to do a 3-4 minute live video, or record it and send it to me, that's a big step. And I'm the kind that looks at, I'd mentioned a lot of times salespeople are ego driven. They're afraid that their idea or thought isn't good enough. And I'm the backwards guy that says, do it anyway. Get over your fear of doing it. Do it anyway. If it falls flat, fix it, but do it.
I hear you, Tom. You have to be vulnerable to grow. And, so many times we're afraid of looking less than perfect, less than professional.
Mhm.
But, if you don't take that step, you're never going to change. Your business is never going to grow. It's never going to get better. It's
Right.
scary, but it's going to bring you additional revenue streams.
Right. And part of being an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever we like to call ourselves these days, is we started the game with the screw loose because everybody told us not to do it. We were raised not to do it. We were raised to go to college, get a degree, work someplace for 40 years, retire with a gold watch. So we're doing everything opposite of what they told us to do. So if we know that going in, then take chances. You have to know going in, you're taking a risk. You're going to take multiple risks. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to pick yourself up. You're going to wash your face off, and you're going to try it another way till you get it right.
Right. And so having support when you do that is very valuable, and a mastermind group
Absolutely.
can help. Another thing that I found, that people working from home don't have a dedicated workspace.
You should see mine.
Oh, did you
I
take
would
over
move
the
into
whole?
an office if you paid me.
Oh, really? Oh, then you might not
have
want
the
to share with.
No. Please tell us.
No, go ahead. Tell me
Now,
what
keep
you
in
have.
mind, this has been a 5-year journey. This has been a 5-year journey to get this space right.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, if you have a dedicated workspace, when you sit in that workspace, it's time to work. And I know a lot of people work in front of their TV, on their kitchen table, and those are places that are used for something else. And if you have, even if it's a corner in the living room, if you have a dedicated workspace, you sit in there, you almost have to simulate going to work.
Yep. Exactly. No, that's a great point, Ellen. And I try to, yeah, I've been working not in pajamas for sure, but a pair of shorts. But I try to, especially with Zoom, I try to put on a nice shirt with a collar, and I get up and I go, and of course I'm in my home office, the spare bedroom, so it's got other purposes than just being my office. But when I'm in it and that door is shut, it's my office and I'm working, and that's part of the
Right.
deal. You have
And the
you have
thing
to be able you have to do that. You have to do that.
You have to
Definitely,
do
I
that.
agree. So,
and
one
yeah,
one of our viewers, one of our listeners, Ted, has put in the chat. Uh, he likes doing cold calls. So if you need help with cold calls, call him. He'll help you out because he likes doing cold calls. So I don't know. He's got to talk about having a screw loose. That guy's got a screw loose. Um, uh, but yeah,
oh, we love Ted.
yes,
I met
and
Ted a
he
couple,
also,
well, last year sometime,
yeah,
and
live
he
video
does, he
advertising.
likes cold call, and there are people that do.
Yep. And he also adds
We met real bad last year.
advertising. Live video advertising with an email blast is a great way to advertise, Ted suggests. So thanks for your comments, Ted. We appreciate it. Hey,
Absolutely.
we're heading down to the winding down, and that was one of your last time. Schedule an end of your day. So hey, we've got an end of this podcast coming up in a few, so we've scheduled that, Ellen. So we're on track there. Scheduling an end of your day is important. At some point, you got to finish, be done for the day, right?
Right. And that's so important for your psychological mindset, especially now. You have to have balance in your life. You have to have time for your family, time for you to have some private time, you know,
Yep.
and
Awesome.
end the day. End the day. Now,
Good.
when you end the day, you could end the day with a ritual. You could start the day with a ritual, like maybe you get your coffee, you sit down in your work spot, or you end your day with a ritual too. And you might write down the top 3 things that you want to do the next day so that when you get up and into your workspace the next day, you can hit the ground running because you have your top 3 things that you could do. But it also closes the book on the day and helps you,
Excellent.
you know,
Great.
end the
That's
day.
that's a great tip. If that's all you take away from today is that last little bit there, that's an awesome nugget. Thank you for that. So, Ellen, you talked about collaborating and partnering with somebody, and you've got an event coming up uh, with somebody you're partnering with. Tell us a little bit about that event.
Well, I'm I'm going to tell you the name of the event, and then I'm going to tell you why. Um,
Okay.
the name of the event is How to Experience Joy in the Holidays and Beyond. And it's on November 20th from 7 to 9 p.m. And I'm partnering with Carly Morris from Mindfully Carly, and it's a virtual event. But the reason that we're doing it is because I have identified with a lot of clients and people around me that they're really concerned about what the holidays are going to look like this year. People are worried that they're going to be alone and not see their families. And what we wanted to do was help people make happy memories, create new traditions that they like, nurture family relationships, and care for themselves. And so we're going to explore that in a 2-hour session. It's going to be interactive. We'll have some movement, we'll have some talking, and we're encouraging people that when they come, it's from 7 to 9 on a Friday night, to bring their favorite beverage and just sit down and chat, and let's talk about something that is on people's minds is making them anxious.
All right. Great. So, audience, there it is, November 20th. Mark your calendar for that. It's a Friday night, 7 to 9 p.m. and it's a virtual event. So mark your calendar for that and give Ellen a jingle. So Ellen, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. Give us your 60-second infomercial. love your infomercial. So give us your 60-second infomercial and how people can get in touch with you.
Okay, so I coach professional women and a few good men to increase accountability, productivity, and positive mindset while working from home. I'm Ellen Corey, board certified wellness coach, empowering my clients to move forward with confidence. Ellen with Coaching by Corey. Okay, what else do you want?
Very good. And for those watching on Facebook, Ellen's phone number has been scrolling across the bottom of the screen. But Ellen, go ahead. Shout out your phone number for us.
My phone number is 224-633-6608. And excuse me, 3308. 633.
I was going to say, wait a minute. We just did this.
3308. But you know what? What's easy to remember is my name is Ellen Corey and my business is Coaching by Corey. And my website is www.coachingbycorey. So you could check that out. And if you wanted to sign up for the how to have the great holiday and make that plan, you could sign up on my website or on the McHenry website.
McHenry Area Chamber website. So McHenryChamber.com, on that website, you can find that event there as well. Thank you very much, Ellen. Appreciate all your wisdom this evening and your experience. You're an awesome lady to talk to. Always enjoy the conversations with you. Always learn something from you. So again, thank you for your time tonight. And I hope our audience enjoyed it and got a few nuggets as well. Tom, your final thoughts. I'm done.
Okay. I just want to thank Ellen for being on our show this evening. It is always a pleasure to see and talk with you. And we were able to get that out to the audience. You had some great stuff there that people would be smart to have taken some notes. Use that stuff tomorrow or be smarter. Go to her website and make contact, talk with her. She can help you in a lot of different ways. If you're working from home, if you're struggling working from home, if you're new to working from home, if COVID's giving you some trouble by working from home, this is a lady you want to talk to. So
what a pleasure
again,
to be with you, Tom and Frank. Thank you.
We thank you. Again, we are happy that you were here. We are in the moments of another Our 2 Cents episode. We're about to put this one in the can. Those of you who are looking for the orientation video for my upcoming course, some of you have asked for it. I will get it sent out as soon as we get off the air here. And those who are looking to find out what it's about, if you have experience and knowledge at anything, I can teach you how to monetize it. That's what it's about. All righty, Frank, good to see you. We will see you again next week.
Yes,
and
sir.
to our audience, we will see you all next week. And we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a great night, Al.
Thank you.